Really nice to see you guys back again. Today, I've been given a bit of homework. It's not really homework, it's me work. I'm not at home, am I? Yeah, it's me work I've been given. And today, I've got a guest. I'm going to let my guests introduce themselves.
None other than myself, Rare Talks. You already know it is like comment, like, subscribe. I always describe myself like that, so I don't even know how to even describe myself. But yeah, Rare Talks. I'm in the building, man. What are you saying?
Yes, I'm good. It's really good to have you on. You have been a great inspiration to me and my journey with regard to podcasting. And I am going to allow you to dissect the work I've done and question me on it because you're an expert.
No problem. That sounds like a pleasure for me, if I'm honest. Starting off straight away, your new episode that you've got coming out. One of the episodes that you've done, it was about cheating, and you said cheating is a word that we've made up, but it doesn't actually really exist. I was listening to that episode and I was thinking, wait a second, what did you mean by that? Because a lot of people get offended by that whole statement in general.
No, I've realised the public are very sensitive about cheating, which is why I thought it would be a good idea just to make it easier for you guys. Cheating's just a word. Why does it have to be associated with men sleeping with women or women sleeping with men and they haven't told somebody else? I don't get it. I associate cheating with like gambling, card game, where you see my cards and I don't know you've seen my cards and now you're going to win because you've seen my cards. Like, I associate cheating with you having one up on me. You can't have one up on me if you've just slept with somebody else. How's that having one up on me? I don't get it. So you explain to me why they've used this word cheating in association with sex.
I believe there is cheating. I do believe relationships do have cheating, but what I do not agree with is what they class as cheating. I believe if a man has two women and he's treating them both the same and he's taking care of both of them, that's not cheating. That's just called having two women. That's a whole different scenario to cheating, because I feel like cheating is like somebody going behind someone's back, as they say, yeah? But I was listening to your episode, you saying, why do I have to tell you? It was funny. I found it funny.
No, but
why do I have to tell you?
It's true though.
Like, when do you tell the person? Do you tell them before? Do you tell them after?
Okay.
And that made perfect sense. But a lot of people will not understand that.
Well, if it makes perfect sense, then why wouldn't people understand it?
Because most people will act off emotion and think, oh, well, you've done this to me. Whether you told the person at the moment or before, the person's still going to class it as you've done something wrong against me. That's how majority of people are going to look at it.
Do you know what that just sounded like? You've done something to me. You went out separately from me. I didn't even know. Yeah? And you went and had a sexual pleasure, one way or the other, with another person. How is that doing something to me?
So if someone done
I'm lying down in my bed sleeping, good.
No problem. But if someone done that to you, would you class that as cheating?
No.
Okay.
I've never been cheated on. I don't know what that means. I've never known of a person that I've been intimate with, as far as I'm concerned, on an exclusive level, to come or to find out. I've just never known that. I don't know about that life.
Okay. Another topic that you touched on was that about people leaving their children all day, and then after leaving their children all day, they come home and the children are asleep. You're saying they're neglecting their children. But some people might say that I'm actually teaching my children how to live in a world where you have to work hard to get your achievements.
Yeah, and I agree that you have to live in a world that you have to work hard to get your achievements. But at the cost of who and what?
Some people say that it's not really a cost because the kid wouldn't be able to coexist without us doing this. So people would look at it from a perspective of, I'm only doing this for the child. That's what they would say.
Illusion, myth, lie. That's what I say. In the sense of, you can't be doing it for the child because sometimes the child can't even talk. So what's it asking you for? What's it demanding from you that you think it needs while you don't need to be there? And you're out there earning what they call money. If obviously I understand a roof over your head. I just don't get where how it equates.
One part that I did agree with you when you spoke on that topic was that you said that women be having babies and then 2 weeks later back into work. I think that's incorrect. I feel like a woman should take out some time of her life that look like she did when she had the 9 months to have the child, to actually sit down and get to know the child and love the child. I feel like giving your child too fast away to people is a way of not building a strong connection with that child. And in long term, it has bad effects, meaning the effects of that doesn't be seen at the moment. It's only later on in life when the child doesn't have a bond with you and you're like, why me and my child got a bond, or why me and my child can't get along. And it was from the initial stages, from that early stage, the child doesn't even feel like they know you and they look for, I don't know, a mother figure or a father figure for someone else. So I fully understand that point, that like just going out too fast.
Okay, so what about the point when I said that I've just realised that it's not even those younger years that were the most critical when they really did need me, even though you've just pointed out it still would affect them. I've realised now it's the older years. So you tell me, when is the right time to give your child away? When is the right time to just leave your child all day, come home when they're in bed? When is that right time?
Do you know what? That was another good point that I wanted to talk about as well. Is I feel as our parents thought, all right, they're getting older, they can do stuff for themselves. I don't need to spend time. I don't need to really chat for them anymore. When at that time is when I need you the most, because I'm going through things. I need to understand things. I need some guidance. I need some like little pointers on little things, and I just need a good friendship as well. I think a lot of people don't actually understand this. When, as you grow older, with your parents, you start to become friends more. So you generally like want mummy and daddy and all of those people to like generally like give you that kind of like advice. Does it make sense? So
yes,
I understand like people would like abandon their children when they get older and think, oh, they can do everything themselves. They got their own friends. They got their own life, which is good because children want their space, whatever. But at the same time, I generally think that neglecting that time, is dangerous. But then at the same time, there has to be a boundary.
I'm asking you, when is the right time to neglect your child? You tell me. You asked me that question.
There's no time to neglect your child.
Okay,
but there's a time when the child should be their own person.
Right, so obviously the government have made kind of guidelines for that, and that's called school. That's called school. You do realise that you go to school to build social relationships. You go to school to learn to share. You don't necessarily go to school to learn the curriculum. Not everybody picks up that from school. Not everybody's academic. What you'll find is, especially secondary school, a lot of the friendships you build will be at school. So, yeah, you are being given the opportunity to be your own person, and that might be a time that your parents can go to work. No? But what you saying, you think that what I've said is incorrect because I said, you're leaving your child all night, and some people might think they're teaching their child values. Show me where the value is. I said at what cost. You said you don't agree with them going 2 weeks after. When do you agree with them going? I'm asking you.
Children, like I said, I think all children should be kicked out of the house at the age of 16 years old.
To do what?
To go and find life, to go and make life for themselves.
Well, not come back and sleep there at night?
If they want to come back, but they have to learn life. So either you go college, you go university, or you do something.
Yeah, so when you get kicked out, when you say kicked out, what do you mean? I don't understand.
It's like when you go swimming and you throw a child into the water. Sometimes that child has to learn how to float or they're going to die.
Okay, so be more specific when you say kicked out. What do you mean?
You have to give them time to go and learn themselves. How else are they going to learn themselves?
I know, but are they allowed to sleep there?
1 second. You got grown men that are in their 40s. I know men right now in their 40s that say they got a house at their mum's house. They got a bedroom at their mum's house. Big man, go and sort your life out. You've been working for over 25 years. Why do you always feel like your mum's a safe haven where you can run back to your mum's house? And that's because mummy has kept the brakes on to make you be a baby boy. Like, you can always come back here because she's lonely.
That's the truth. I don't agree with that.
That's the truth.
No, I feel that, especially in this day and age, there's been an epidemic of adults that have reached in between the ages of 40 and 50, and their first life that they started with whatever woman or partner they had has broken down, and they have to come back home because they've left probably the other person in the marital home. Or what is going on is a lot of people can't afford to stay where they're staying because of the cost of living crisis that we're in now, and the whole family goes back home. Mum, dad, the kids, because the parents actually understand how the world was going to go. My granddad always used to say to me, get your pension from now. When you get big, there won't be a pension system for you to rely on. That was 30 years ago. How did he know that? These people, they know stuff. So what they do is they keep the room for you because they almost expect you, unfortunately, to fail at the life that you're living, and they almost expect you to come back.
I think that's wrong. Even if it does fail, I generally believe that you need to be have patterned your life to the point where you've made connections, you've made friends, you know things that you can go rent a room from your friend, that you've got a job, and it's not that impossible for you to actually restart your life. The problem that we see nowadays, and this is actually the truth, I believe when mothers have sons, they love their sons so much that they baby them so much that the thought of a woman doing them wrong, they want to have something there so they could come back. It's not, there's nothing wrong with going back to your mum's house for a little while to just get your mind right. Maybe you was in a sad place mentally.
I'm glad you agree with that.
No, but I'm saying mentally. But you shouldn't feel the ownership to you, like, why isn't my room there anymore? Or this is my room, bro. It's the grandkids' room now. Because it's about grandkids. It's not about you as a big man. You as a big man can go get a job and go rent a room for £650, £800 a month. Yeah, a little small room, because that's what you're living in anyway. When you go to your mum's house, you're living in a little room. And a lot of men, they'll go back to their mum's house. I've seen this with my own eyes, and they won't even give their mum or run their mum no money.
Yeah, but the thing about it is, when the grandchildren are coming, that's when the man is coming as well, because he knows that if his child's there, especially if he's the paternal parent and these are the paternal grandparents, if his child there, he can go coach out there anytime. Mum's not telling you can't. Does that make sense? So it's almost like he's riding off the back of the grandchild now. So you're saying that the yard's for the grandchild. If my child's there, which is the grandchild of the parent, the mum or the dad, I'll be there as well. How are you going to get rid of that problem?
It's not even getting rid of it. It's the fact that you should be in a situation where your situation is so patterned that even if your children are there, you're coming there for 2 days. You're not living there. Understand the difference between living and visiting. I think a lot of people don't know the difference.
Yeah, no, the difference is I can live at your house for 2 days. I can live at Mary's house for 2 days. I can live at my mum for 2 days. Before you know it, week's done. I'm good every week.
No, but that's not even the correct way to even be.
I know, but I'm just saying, if that's what you're saying that living somewhere and staying somewhere for 2 days is different. No, some people take that as the same thing.
No, because
I'm just saying to you.
I'm saying I could visit a woman's house.
Yes.
Yeah. Doesn't mean I live there, but I could visit every week.
Yeah, but hear the joke. Before you know it, as far as she's concerned, you live there. So I don't know how you're getting.
How is she gonna think that I live at her house?
Because you come every week for 2 days.
So
you know where the plate cupboard is.
So
you haven't even asked, babe, where's the plate cupboard? You actually know. Yeah. No, you live there, brethren. You might all have a little sneaky key, depending on what our neighbours are like. You live there, yes? My next thing, she's like literally asking, yeah, but you know you've been staying for a couple of days, yeah? You see the gas and the electric, yeah? Then once you put your hand in your pocket, you're committed.
That's wild, because I don't think, I generally don't think I live anywhere unless the place where I say that all my clothes and where I've got keys and I have full 24-hour access to that place. That is my actual home address. If I don't have that, that is not my address. That is a place where I visit. Just like when you go to a hotel.
I'm just going to put it out there. How many black males don't have an address? Just tell me. Because you guys know. I know. Because I know how you guys
Every black man has an address.
Right. Incorrect. Every black man has several addresses. Every black man has one address that he wants to give to the DWP, one address that he's going to give for his car finance, a next address that he's giving for his phone bill, a next address for his bank account. There's a lot of you out there because you're still running on the road, aren't you? Like you, in your mind, but you've got a job, you've got a baby mother, you do actually live somewhere, but she hasn't put you on the name of the thing yet. Because even though you and her have been together since creation, you put the carpet down, the floor and everything. You decorated that place 3 times, but you're still on the run. So that's the problem that we have, you see. It's a vicious cycle. Yeah, man are still on the run. In their mind, they're illegal. They don't want nowhere that is their fixed abode, so that in case somebody's going to kick off the door, it won't be there. We've got that cycle as well, because don't forget we're dealing with community.
I think that's a small percentage of.
Oh, I wish.
I think that's a small percentage of
I
black.
wish.
I think that's a very small percentage of black people.
I tell you why as well. If you're on your first life still, of course your foot's under the table and you've only got one address, 24-hour access, blah, blah, blah. Try your second life or your third life when it's the relationship's broken down. You've had to leave that marital home. You will have another marital home. Before you know it, your driving license is in this place, your passport is in that place. I'm just saying, that's how easy these things happen.
No, but that still doesn't make it your living address. See, a man can have 2 houses, but only have 1 living address. You know, I always remember this. The house, a house is not the heart is where the house is, the home is, yeah? It's not where you lay your head. A man can lay his head in many different homes, but only one place is his actual home.
And then you've got the flip side of that, where wherever I lay my hat, that's my home. Do you get me? So you can have it whichever way you want. No,
but that's not that's just a figure of speech, as in like.
But it means something. It actually means that I'm here and I feel at home. And I'm going to call this my home if I feel like it. Today is Tuesday. I come here every Tuesday. On a Tuesday, this is my home. This is where I live on Tuesdays.
No, but it doesn't make you a home because you don't have keys. You don't have keys to the house.
They might do.
You're not on the tenancy.
They're definitely not on the tenancy, but they don't want to be on the tenancy. They don't want to be found. Don't forget.
I don't want to be found.
No, they don't
bro,
want to
it
be
sounds
found.
like man is a criminal, bro.
Right, okay. This is what happens, yeah, unfortunately. A lot of people used to be criminals, and you see the mindset, they find it so difficult to take themselves out of it. I'm not even joking. It's more about the mindset than actually what's going on. I know a man that had to change his driving license address. He was scared to put the old driving license in the letterbox. Why? Because, as far as he's concerned, what if they don't send me the new one? It's my only form of ID. But that address is your baby mother's house. Mum, she's dead. So no matter what, you're going to have to change the address, fam. It's only because she died, you know, that they thought, oh, I better change my driving license. Otherwise, their driving license would have been in this woman's place. All driving tickets go there. You get it? It's a mindset.
Yeah, I love it.
It's a mindset. And that's when you start looking at it on that level, you will find it's a majority. Rather than the minority who don't want to save money.
On that part, yes, do it.
Right. So that's where a lot of people are. So a lot of people are here. There's a lot of people on second or third lives. So therefore, they just haven't got their admin together yet. So therefore, their things are all over the place just because they haven't got it together yet. We've got those people. Then you've got the people that literally don't want to be found because they are still active. We've got those people. We've got the people that used to be active and still don't want to be found just in case somebody found out that they used to be active. But before you add all that up, you're the only man that's got this 24-hour access address that you live in one place. Before you add all that up, you're the last man standing, brethren.
It's real, man. Let me be the last man standing. I'm staying to what I know. And I genuinely believe that. I understand what you said, 100% is correct.
Yeah.
Like, there's a lot of men out there like that. Now deep in it, I understand that. But I still wouldn't say that where a man's comfortable shouldn't be his mother's house. And I'm going to say why, yeah? See, as you grow older as a man, yeah, you start to develop your own habits, you have your own way of living, yeah? When you're living with your parents, they have their own way of living and you have to respect it. You know what I'm saying? So if mum says, I don't like my door opening at 10 o'clock, bro, I'm in and out of that yard at 10 o'clock. I'm like a night owl, bro. All I do is live on the roads and come in and out, yeah, and bring a lot of gal. Why are you at your mum's house doing these slack movements? It's not good. So I generally believe, like, even like, I've got bare brothers here. If I saw my brother, like one of my brothers, bring a girl to my mum's house here, I'd be like, just as like we got so many brothers, there's only bare man, we're going to be like, but what's my man on, bro? Why is he bringing that thing? And then, like, he's all upstairs with her. We're like, bro, like, we're all men. We know what's going on upstairs. But, like, this is mum's house. You can't be violating mum's house, bringing gal here. So I understand that it's not always a good look for men to have their mum's house as a safe haven. Because where mummy goes, where's your safe haven now?
Yeah, I agree. But like you said it, the mums almost expect it. It's almost like you're not being a four-armed parent if you haven't got a space for, like you said, the grandchildren or the children to come back to when it all goes wrong. Because as a parent, you have a foresight. So you know that life doesn't always go according to plan. And obviously, you know you brought this child into the world, regardless of whether they're an adult or not. You're always going to be their parent. They're always going to be your child. And it is just that thing of still parenting because it never, ever stops. So my thing is now, forget about me and all the rest of it. My children aren't even grown yet and I'm thinking about grandchildren. Nobody's even said, Mum, I'm pregnant. Nobody's even said, Mum, I've got this girl pregnant. They haven't even mentioned it. But how dumb would I be to think, oh, it's never going to happen. Oh, let me just sit down here and just wait for it. No, I need to start thinking that because obviously I am the adult.
But then wouldn't it be that you're putting in the atmosphere that you're thinking that the relationship's not going to end?
And this is the trick, you see. Obviously, you don't put it in the atmosphere because you don't want to say nothing because that's not what you want. But you'd be a half idiot to say, that never happened to my child, because who says that and really means it? You only say that when you're living in denial. Obviously, you want the best for your child, especially when people have paid big money for this wedding. Do you know what I mean? Because somebody's got to pay for it. You paid all that money for, of course you want them to stay together. But life being life, things being things, your child being your child, you're the one that brought him up after all, it ain't going to last, is it? They'll be back.
So you're saying parents are actually with the mindset that their child is so intolerable that this relationship's not going to work.
That was a joke. That was a joke.
And the child is definitely, and he's definitely going to give her a bun, and she definitely going to run him out.
No, you know what it's like though. You got your child. Yeah, I say to Winter all the time. Watch when you got your man, he's going to beat you because you're too feisty. I tell her all the time. I don't know if I mean it or not, but she's got to expect that because it's out there. And she is very feisty. And I'm not even telling her to be quiet. I'm not even telling her not to be feisty. I'm just telling her there are people out there that will box you in your mouth for how you get on. She needs to understand that. So making those jokes from such an early age is almost a subliminal message. Do you know what I mean? So if she does get a box in her mouth from a man, she's going to, boy, my mum did warn me. I don't know what else to say. It's just real life. There's no point in us parents going, oh no, well, yeah, he's gone now. What I'm going to do, I'm going to make my room into an art room. Yeah, when he comes back, you know you're stripping that art room. You know you're going to put that single bed or that futon back in there and paint it a magnolia so that he can come back or she can come back. It's not usually the girls, it's usually the men. It just usually is. And I feel sorry for men for that. I actually have such... an empathy for that being a man and that whole process of being kicked out of your marital home, your sweetheart's home, the home where you've got your first set of children, the home that you put every lick of paint on that wall and you both had fun in there and you christened every room together before you even had the kids. You have to leave that home. I feel it. I feel that.
Do you think so now this branches onto another topic now. So do you think there's enough support services for men when they do break up from relationships? For instance, if a woman says that she's in a domestic violence relationship, she get put into a shelter same day. If a man says it...
Yeah, but a man's not really going to say he's been in a domestic violence relationship, is he?
Why not? Men do actually get abused though.
Oh, for God's sake, here we go.
There's some men, not every man's strong, not every man's strong, you know. Some men are actually weak.
Okay.
So what do you do in the situation that, all right, say for instance, I'll give you this.
Sorry,
I'll give it to you. I'll give it to you.
All the abused men.
All right, cool.
I apologise.
I'm saying your son is in a relationship with a narcissistic woman that is abusing him and belittling him and making him feel away.
Yeah.
And he's in there for months.
Yeah.
Now he feels embarrassed to come out and say, I'm with a woman that's berating me, disgracing me, humiliating me, cussing me, treating me like nothing.
Yeah.
So he's embarrassed. So why are you laughing?
Sorry.
Why are you laughing?
Because I just find that so funny.
Why are you laughing?
First of all, people, that could never be my child, yeah? That's the first thing. Because I don't know what it is about me, but I've managed to do this. and I've managed to do it really well. Those boys have no form of thing like that. Like Kingston couldn't give a flying hoot, and Cairo is telling you straight, all he wants is sex. So, why are you laughing? Just so, boy, I don't know how that's gonna happen. I don't know how you guys are letting that happen to you. It's us women that are weak. Yeah, we are. I'm a woman, and I'm telling you, strong. I got muscles. Give you 10 right now. This and that. When it comes to my man that I have, yeah, I'm weak. That's what I am, with my big mouth. Weak. It's not supposed to be the other way around. So if it is, and we're going to address your question, yeah, and you are a man and you are in that situation, I know it's not funny, and it just isn't. Just leave, innit? Just get up and go. Just take your things, yeah, and leave.
Alright, so I'm saying though, like your child's been going through that now because this woman is sick with it. She's a mastermind manipulator. She's got your son in this rupture.
He's got to leave.
He's got to leave, yeah.
Of course he has.
All right, no problem. But how does he express himself now to say this is what's happened to me?
Right. Okay. So.
And where does he get help from? Who
right,
helps him?
So there's going to be a whole process of that because first of all, the same for any human, you have to admit that you are being abused in whatever way it is. You have to literally admit that to yourself. And I can imagine men being men with the traits that men have, that would be really difficult to even admit. So once you've gotten over that hurdle, it might take you a good few years in the relationship. You might get used to it by then, you just never know. But once you got over that and you can literally admit that to yourself, I think after that it is time to go. And then after that, it will depend on your recovery rate. Because for me, recovery is what's important. It's not about the breakup. The breakup is usually going to be inevitable. There are not many of us that are with the first person that we went with. That's not common. So therefore, as humans, we are made to recover because survival is what we do best until we die. So after that, for my son, which could never be my son, by the way, it would have to be his recovery and how he dealt with that recovery. And they reckon that the best way to get over another woman is to get another woman. I don't know. That's what they reckon.
I think that's why a lot of us men don't heal though, because I'll be real with you. I've been in that phase where, you know, you use one woman to get over another and you've already pre-planned your exit. You know what I'm saying? Kept this one on the side, sweet, you know what I'm saying? Money, life, everything. Good times, no bad times, no arguments.
Yet.
Cool. But I will say that if you're not doing the journey of trying to find yourself in the world, you're just going to hurt that person again. And
no,
it's
that's
going to
the
turn to a
recovery. The recovery. It's not just hurting yourself though, Ads. It's not about that. And that's what people need to stop thinking about. It's hurting you. Forget about them for 1 minute. Put them to one side. Just for 1 minute. You and somebody have been in a serious relationship. Your emotions were caught up. Feelings and all the rest of it that you can't help. Blah, 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 blah. You're going to come out of that relationship. Unless you've learned something about yourself, you go into another relationship, then what you're doing to yourself. Forget about the other person.
But a lot of people don't, and I've seen this has become more common with women more than ever nowadays, if I'm being honest. I think maybe it was hidden more. But now, because of social media, you can see things. You can see like your ex on dates and stuff like that. She don't need to show you. She's just taking pictures of food. And where there's two people, but I only see one plate. But anyway, so it's become
Man
more...
carrying plate feelings, yeah? Bloody hell. Do you know, you see the kind of things that people look into? Don't know what's going on, you know. Look what he said. He's got it all worked out. Carry on.
100% I've got it all worked out. It's a good thing to be one step ahead, not one step behind.
Days.
So I'm saying in general, if you use the method of using other people to try and heal, all you do is damage yourself and damage other people in the process of doing that. Because the real healing process is stepping away from a relationship, reflecting on the relationship, taking time out to find out what you like in life in general. Whether that means you start going on dates, but you start telling people the serious, I just came out of a serious relationship. I am not looking for something serious. What do you want to do?
There's the key. Right. So I disagree with ads on that level. I feel that when you come out of a serious relationship and you go into another relationship, that other person, that's their business. Yeah? They can't get hurt by you. They're hurting themselves because you've just said, I've just come out of a serious relationship. Why don't they allow you? Why are they pushing themselves up on you? Why are they trying to pursue you in any way? You know why? Because they know that's your vulnerable stage. Yeah, they've homed in on it, and it's down to you whether to say to that person, boy, she just come out of a relationship, I'm going to allow this one. You can say that, because if you do go in, and like Ad says, you do get hurt. He just said they're hurting you. No, you're hurting yourself. And that same person that has gone into that relationship after you've just said, I just come out of a serious relationship, and you've got into it again, you've had no recovery time.
None at all. And I feel like when you do that a lot, all it does is it just creates different things going on inside your mind and different emotions and feelings of people. You know, some people, they think that if I'm out of this relationship, let me just jump onto this one quickly and hang on to this person to try and forget the other person. You should never ever use someone else to try and stop thinking about someone, because eventually you will start thinking about that person again. I'm saying off experience as a man, after all these years of my life, I thought I could do that. And then I'm still thinking about the girl. So it didn't make sense to me. So I'm thinking about someone that I thought I was going to use someone else to try and get over, but I'm still thinking about her. And nowadays relationships are different because you got social media. You can see what your old partner was doing. But back in the day, if you lost someone and there was no social media, it's like, I generally don't know what you're doing. It was like the purest form of love, because you generally miss that person. You generally miss their smile. You generally miss everything about them. Nowadays, someone just go on YouTube, watch a video over and over again and reminisce.
Cry. Yeah. Right, so I have a few things to say about what you've just said. Some of it I agree with, and some of it I don't. I don't agree with, and these days someone can just go on YouTube and look at your page and see See, they are looking at what your ex wants you to see. It might not be the truth.
100%.
Right. So that's the first thing. That's why you mustn't take any notice of these things. That's what I would tell you. The fact that you've looked, you're obviously interested. What you see, how are you going to know if it's even true? Good. And then another thing you said was you should never, ever use that person as an excuse, which basically brings me back to my point, as I'm being right again, because I'm like that, is that you are only doing it to yourself, which is basically what the man came back and said in the end.
100%.
Doing it to yourself. All of it is to yourself. You come out of the relationship, doesn't matter who split up with who, you gone into another relationship, this and that's happened, wherever. You have done that. You have done that. You have made that choice to do that. There's no blame. I don't want to hear it. But I've just come out of another. I don't care. Why did you get into this one? Do you know what I mean? Why did you? I didn't force you. No one forces anybody to do anything like that. People just get caught up. They don't think ahead. That's what I can't take. The non-thinking ahead. If you just stopped and thought, actually, what's going to happen in 5 minutes' time? Then half the things that we wouldn't do.
Facts. I fully respect that, because me personally, I've seen it, and I only speak subjectively on myself, so that it doesn't sound like I'm speaking on other people's experiences or something that I don't know. I'm only going to speak on the experiences that I've actually gone through myself in this world, so I can, my life experiences, so you don't make the same mistakes that I did. But in general, if you're using I need to get up under someone to get over someone, all you're doing is destroying yourself in the long run. And in years to come, and I always say, some damage that we cause now to ourselves are only seen in years to come. So for instance, someone drinks alcohol a lot, they might be enjoying it and they might be loving it, but in 10 years from now, they might have liver failure. You know what I'm saying? Or kidney problems. There's all kinds of things that they'll see in the long run that it will start. Someone's an athlete and they're always working at high intensities. They grow older, they got arthritis, their joints are not working, but they never saw it at that moment. And it's the same with relationships. If you keep jumping from one relationship to another, to another, to another, to another, and not actually taking the time out to actually heal yourself, then eventually what happens is you burn yourself out to the point where you get to a point where you say, I don't even love myself. And you just do anything and anything with anyone. And then you end up in a situation where, you could catch anything, or you could just just that's your life now. You don't even care about life. All day is about chasing gal and or chasing man. You know what I'm saying? That's your whole life. It's been reduced to what someone else can do for you. And then you come into a needy stage of needing. You see the needy stage, yeah? Of being a needer, being someone who needs someone else. That's the most weakest stage of your life that you'll ever be at. And the only time you're really there, if you really think about it, in the stages of your life, yeah, in creation is when you're actually a baby. As you start to come out of baby, the more you start to grow, yeah, as an adult, you start to come more out of the baby stage. But because you haven't healed from something that happened in childhood trauma, this is the reason why you always need to resort back to baby stage and being needed and being someone to look after you, someone to take care of you, someone to make you feel validated. And that to me is one of the scariest phases that a lot of people actually go through in their minds.
So I would say, being a person of the world and speaking from experiences and the vast collective amount of things that I've seen and heard, I would say, to be honest, that actually we all end up needing someone in life as the older we get, regardless of who that person is. I think that no man is an island. I think it's all very well being independent and being an independent woman, this and that, blah blah blah. But I don't think that makes you a woman. I think that makes you quite cold. I think that makes you unapproachable. I think that makes you scary. I think that being slightly submissive. I think that actually knowing that you've got somebody to rely on is one of the most sweetest feelings in the world. As well as yourself, you know, you've got somebody that's got your right hand, they call it, or your partner. It's supposed to be the other part of you that what you can't do, they can, where you're not picking up so well, they are, and vice versa, like proper teamwork. I think that if you are needy, if you are a needy person, then you need a provider. I think if you're a needy person, you shouldn't be with somebody that's just as needy as yourself. Otherwise, the two of you will never get anywhere.
But there's a lot of people two needy people in a relationship. So one person's need could be for comfort, and another person's need could be for money. So needs, they differ regarding the individual and what is it they want from life.
Agreed, but also it depends on how much you want to demonstrate that need. How much you want to demonstrate. Because I can just ask you for something, which means that I need it. Oh, Andrew, please can I have your car? Yeah, because I need it. Or I can say to you, no, Andrew, I need your car. I really need it. I really need it. I really need it. Which puts an extra, different set of pressure on you and makes you think that I am really needy. When really, it's just the way I've asked you. That makes it look or sound a lot worse than what it is. Do you know what I mean? I don't think there's anything wrong with being needy. I think it's quite a sweet and cute way to be as a person, because this is what you're saying. You're saying, I can't do this by myself. I can't do it all by myself. Somebody please help me. Nothing wrong with asking for help, especially if you're with somebody that claims to love you or that you claim to love back. You're supposed to need each other. No?
100%. I feel like everybody needs somebody, but we're living in a day and age now where society, the government, and everything, feminism, modern day feminism.
Oh, for God's sake, don't you start me off with that.
It's pushed women and propelled them to a sense where I don't need a man because a man is not a commodity. A man's only good for when I need him, but besides that, I don't need him. And single independent lady, I don't need a man. It's become a trend now where I don't know who manufactured this and promoted it inside of our communities, but it's been here manifesting for years, and now we're at the forefront where it's being spoken about in on social media. So now that younger generation growing up are having this mindset, but there's obviously a lot of young girls that are growing up saying, "No, I need not." And it sounds crazy when women. It's making it sound weird when a woman says, "I need a man."
There you go, and this is what I'm saying. It's that fact of how cheating, needy. You're making these words sound derogatory and terrible and the most disgusting things that people have ever done. And if you do, you're going to get banished to hell. Seriously? They're just words.
But that's the problem, though. The words are powerful because if you make somebody believe they don't need something, that is need. That is
but also at the same time, if you keep telling somebody you're needy, how are they ever going to think to ask for anything? They're always going to feel, oh, I better not ask because they'll think I'm needy. Come on. There has to be a balance. I always talk about balance. It's my main key to happiness is balance. What we've done, we this is what we like to do. We like to turn everything round that way, then turn it again round that way. No. You can just give it a gentle shift and there will be a difference. One way or the other, whatever way actually suits you. But what we're doing is we're thinking, no, that little shift didn't work, man. Ring. Next thing is broken. Can't even use it again. That's where we're going with everything. That's what is annoying me. Everyone just needs to like take a little step back and think about the question, where have you been? What do you mean you're asking me where I've been? It's just a question. Bloody hell, I am not the police. I'm not court of law. I'm not a judge. I'm just saying, where have you been? It's no big deal.
It's mad.
Do you understand what I'm saying?
I remember something called projection, and projection is you'll see projection a lot in relationships when somebody's up to something they shouldn't be doing.
That's another thing.
Yeah, they'll say to you, like, why did you come back like at this time? Why is your phone off at this? And what they're doing is like, you're chatting to bare girls. I know you are. It's like what they're doing is, because of what they're doing, their guilt inside of them is making them say to you all this weird stuff. And majority of the times, I remember when I was younger, I never used to get it. I used to think like, has she caught me? Like, I'm thinking in my head, damn, how did you know? Like, how did you know? This time, I'm thinking I'm like the number one smoothest guy on the planet. These times, she playing me. Little did I know, she was like doing the dirt against me. So she's like, so I'm thinking I'm a player. She really playing the game. Girls, like, proper.
Girls is players too. You get it? I love it. And that is what I call an absolute beauty, because this is what the actual problem is. Nobody's looking at anything for what it is. Everyone's deluded. Again, it's that big old turn. By the time you turn, the amount of things that move and go around and go, where are you now? In some whirlwind. It's called life. You're still going to go through the motions, isn't it? But it's windy out there. Everything's gusting and blowing. You've got no control over everything. No. Like I said, the small shift, the little balance of what's going on, because that is an absolute beauty. When adults do this so much. They always literally think they're the smartest people in the world. So every adult thinks they're the smartest person in the world. How does that work? Like, come on, guys. How does it actually work? It doesn't. And that is why you will get that. You will get caught out. Because your eyes are not, you're not being real to what's actually going on. You thought that when I asked you where you was, that I wanted to trap you and wanted to keep you there forever. Yeah, and I never wanted you to leave the house. No, I was just asking because depending on where you are, I might want you to buy me something in the area or whatever. But you're not even given a chance for that to happen, that whole conversation. And before you know it, we're in an argument. Over what?
Nothing.
That's as easy as things happen. As easy as it is. Where you think, you don't know shit. You think this, you think that. Why don't you take a little time to actually find out?
It's true.
Little step back, say, hang on a minute. Like I said, I love complacency in people. It's my favourite. I love to just, like, Cairo's friends, for instance. All right, Marsh. All right, Marsh. Now carry on an all right, Marsh me. See if you don't go one all right, Marsh too far. Do you know what I mean? Because this all right, Marsh thing, it's all very well and nice, but let's not get it twisted. I am an adult. Cairo's my child. You're his friend. Do you know what I mean? We can only all right Marsh for so long. Do you get it? The complacency, never seen anything like it. She said to me, the little girl, she said, yeah, but I thought I asked you if I could borrow your speaker. Brethren, you can't think you asked somebody if they... Yeah, you can't think that. You have to know. You have to know that you asked me, because here what I have to do, I have to think about what you asked me, then I have to reply. That's a whole process. But all of a sudden, I've got to lend you my speaker because of that. Do you get me? Where everything's just got carried away in the moment. And I like to stop, take a little stop, dress back, and find out exactly what's going on. And the only way you're going to get that is sometimes to move in silence and just sit back and watch everybody at play. That's my favourite.
You know, that was funny, complacency. I like that what you said, because when someone becomes complacent, they become sloppy as well.
Oh, it's beautiful.
So it's like, you'll never know. Someone will be on point until they start to become complacent.
But how? Right. So this is the trick, people, and I'm serious. Nobody lets anybody get. What you doing? What you doing that for? But, bruv, leave them. You'll soon find out. It take you another 30 seconds to find out what they're doing.
Facts.
Do you understand? But no. So then, as soon as they go to do it, they think, they're onto me. Let me not do it that way. I know it's not the right way. Let me not do it now. And they change it quick. That sound quick? You think it's a joke? You will never get to see what they was gonna do. Shh. This is how I know that. Example, perfect. As you guys know, I lived with my uncles for 10 years. So my uncle, he used to get off the phone. I used to go, who was it? He used to go, Marsh, let me teach you a little thing. Don't ask who was it. Just wait. They're gonna knock the door. I'm gonna mention it in a minute. Just wait. I've learned it. And it is the
patience.
Women. You see, with your man, it's the biggest. I tell you what, it's one of my best assets because I don't need to ask you nothing. Because you know why? I got eyes. I got other senses, bruv. Not just my mouth. You think I'm a dickhead? Every minute I'm asking you. So you know I'm going to ask you. So obviously you're going to make sure that the answer is what I want it to be. You don't know what I'm going to do. Because I got no questions to ask you. Hear what happens when you keep asking questions. You keep giving people opportunity to lie to you. Stop it. Shh. Don't say nothing, but you lot can't help it. So I don't want to tell you that. It's like wasting my breath. You can't help it. No, but I've got to. No, but I'm going to. No, you think I'm just going to leave that? Ladies, men, gentlemen of that ilk, chill. You will see what you want to see. They don't even know you're watching. How about that?
Do you know? That's patience. That's what patience is. Patience is a virtue, meaning in whichever sense you look at it. If you have patience in any situation, everything will become clear. It's when you don't have patience, things become unclear because you're acting off your emotion too fast to actually analyze and see things for what it really is. So that all comes down to patience. And I believe that when you're dealing with people, you've got to have patience with them so that you see things from 2 sides or 3 sides or even 4 sides. Sometimes you got to see things from 4 different angles.
4D effect. Seriously, it's a serious thing. And what we do it with children as well. What we'll find is that they're the worst people we'll have patience with. And they're the most people that you need. But they don't know shit. They don't know nothing. So when you tell a child, put it in that way, and it doesn't do it for the 17th time, hello, don't you think it's about time you got off your fat ass and done it yourself? Do you know what I mean? Like, seriously. And then when that, whatever it is you've asked them to do 17 times isn't done properly or it's broken or whatever, you want to actually tell that child off. Are you not serious? Do you know what I mean? Because that's because you don't have the patience to A, explain properly, B, get up off your backside and show the child properly without actually doing it for them so they can actually learn for themselves. You don't like, give it to me, I'll do it. What's that?
And another question I had for you is that on one of your episodes, you was talking about addictions.
Yes.
And you was talking about gambling is the worst of addictions.
Oh, it's so bad.
And do you know what, yeah? It's crazy that you said that because I actually can relate to you on a whole nother level of like relation when it comes to gambling, because there was someone in my family that was a gambler and I just saw how it just destroyed the whole family. It just messed us all up. Like the lies, the deceit, like the amount of money man wasted, the times that Don never spent with his children. Yeah. Like, it was like, gambling is a proper evil thing. Yeah. But because it's legal and it looks normal and everyone's allowed to do it and there's bookies here and there, it's not looked at as anything bad. But bro, there's some kids that never had childhoods with their father because he was in the bookies. Yeah. And can I tell you? Not even drugs, you know. No. You'd have thought man was a crackhead, you know. You tell him. Or like, man just he lives with his children, but his addiction is just... They've like, never got anything. Like Don's just on the TV every day, just watching this. Like it's crazy. Like CFAX it used to be then or Teletext. Yeah, you know what I'm saying. And you're like, bro, like there's shows on. Yeah, like, yeah. I want to watch something. No, they need to see if their horses won or their things come in or whatever it is. Some people. So this is the beauty of gambling or not. It is so when you take drugs a lot or when you drink alcohol a lot, you will find it difficult eventually to get up and go to work. You see, gambling it makes you get up and go to work because you need money. And there's nothing wrong with you. You've got no hangover effects or, do you know what I mean? Blah, blah, blah. You can get up and go to a spring chicken, bruv. You will never be out of work as a gambler, especially if you're not a criminal. So it's a good thing then. In that's the good
I don't know
side.
what to say.
Is that an upside to it?
I don't know what to
Because majority of that money is going to be spent on chasing
what to
something that doesn't even
say.
exist.
I'm just telling you something about it. You can call it good or bad. You can make it out.
No, but you got a point though. You really do have a point. Because them man will work for their pennies. They'll do any job to get that money to gamble, you know. But where's the same motivation with their children? Yeah?
It's a real thing, bruv. I'm telling you. Gambling is
do you know why? Do you know
thing.
why I think gambling and alcohol sometimes they go hand in hand, but it's like gambling's worse.
Yeah.
Because it's not as actually identified as like an illness. Like like what help? Like you can go to like Gambling Anonymous and all this stuff. Yeah.
What they're actually gonna do for you?
But like, what do you do in a room full of gamblers? Like,
Yeah,
instead you lot say, "Hey, what do you lot know what bet?"
4 o'clock at Goodwood.
Because it's not looked at as something that is wrong.
Yeah.
But I've seen people ruin their families from gambling.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things that it's a silent killer because someone will not spend years with his children and think he's a great father. You're looking at him thinking, bro, you're here physically, but you don't care about me. Run me a 200 or something. And the only time you see the happiness in that man's face is when he wins. And that's once in a blue moon. So imagine you got a father here, and I'll see my dad happy like 3 times a month. Like,
all the rest of the time as well, I'll be honest with a gambler, all the rest of the time they are as moody as hell. You don't know what's wrong with them. You have no idea they are quiet, they're moody because they're losing. Or they haven't got the money to gamble and they could have won. It's a serious head mess up. It is. I'm not joking. Gambling is, and you know what about gambling as well? You think you're even going to know if anybody is actually gambling? They don't smell of gambling. They don't smell of gambling. There's nothing. You know what I mean? And now, do you know what I saw the other day? So I have a neighbour. It was so funny. It was hilarious. So I'm on the bus going home. So he's on the bus going home as well. Taking out the little ticket in his pocket. He took it out. He ripped it up. He can't go home with that evidence.
Oh, he's trying to hide the evidence.
He had to. He had to because basically he's out. He's got the money. I can see the shopping. There's obviously a few bits missing there because some money where it wasn't supposed to go. So now what he's got to do. This is where all the lies come in now, and it's a serious thing with the lies. He's got to come in now. Because, you know, women, before you know it, they're like the till boy. Check. That came to £6.92. I gave you £10. Where's the rest of the money? That's when the lie comes in now. Because the evidence is gone. I saw him throwing away evidence on the bus with my eye. I saw that. Yeah. He's got to lie.
It's wild. It's wild.
That's where that's just one simple lie as well, but it's not, is it really? Because he probably spent like maybe £2.20 on a bet. You got to lie about it because she done that already. Yeah,
that's wild, and that's I could see that gambling is something that nobody really talks about because it's not looked at as a bad thing in society. It's just looked at like, oh yeah, he's just placed a bet. But if somebody's addicted to gambling, there's so many things that person will have. Like they'll have mood swings. They'll be like they're bipolar. They will not spend time with their children. Honestly. They will. The people in the bookie actually become like their family.
Yeah.
Like when they finish work and they have a local time, they go straight to the. Yeah. Yo, what go on, Roger? Yeah. What go on? Hey yo, hey Maureen. Hey, order me that same Chinese food you got. What?
Yeah. And also now it's become very sophisticated because obviously of this digital world that we live in. So you don't have to go to the bookie. So this is what's happening now. It's like, you've been gambling again? No, don't lie because I can see it on here. Yeah? I've seen it. Sky Bet on the computer. That's the kind of art. Do you know what I mean? There is no... Because the thing about it is, there's one thing about money. It's always going to be traceable to somewhere. Do you know what I mean? Like, when you got your winnings, yeah, it's traceable. When you've lost, it's traceable. You can't, like, because the maths don't lie. And when that housekeeping is the housekeeping, it just is the housekeeping. It's the same amount of money every week. Where's it gone? Yeah, do you know what I mean? So that's where we are with gambling. But gambling is a serious thing. I had a neighbour that gambled. She was a woman. She gambled out the whole of the people's... life savings and everything. She mashed it down with the gambling and nobody knew she was gambling until it was all gone. And she was that woman as well that my gran used to come back and say, oh, the man in the shop, say Christine owe him everywhere. The butchers she owed everywhere. And basically, it was because she was gambling out the money that the husband used to give her a week time to do the shopping. So there you go, it happens.
That's wild, man. And that's why I said gambling is like one of the worst addictions that any human being can...
It is at the top of the list. I mean, there are lists of stuff. We know that in this country. There's always a list. There's always something on the top of it. Gambling is at the top of that.
What would you say is
addiction.
number 2?
It's heroin.
Yo, you think alcohol?
No, heroin, unfortunately, heroin... Now, and more people might be addicted to alcohol, but heroin is more addictive than alcohol. That makes sense?
Yeah.
And also prescription drugs. Let's not forget about them. They're way up there now. They never used to be because...
now, these kids be popping Xannies.
Honestly, it's a real thing. And it's not just the kids.
Promethazine.
It's the middle class people as well that want to have this lifestyle that they have to stay up a lot because they have to work hard. They got a big house, they got to pay the mortgage, they got to pay the au pair, they got to pay childminder, they got to buy food, they got to do all this stuff, and then they got to go sleep. And those Valium make you do that quite comfortably after you've been up for a couple of days, and you really do want to get to sleep now, and you can't sleep because your head's buzzing because you're so stressed out. Yeah, prescription drugs are massive to the point where if the people that take them can't get them, they will go anywhere and buy them.
Facts. Yeah. I think that one some cough medicine thing as well. Like I see people they mix the cough medicine with something.
Lean.
Yeah, and then it turns into some like it's basically it's liquidated heroin. So heroin's not how you think it is now. It's like they got liquid. So lean is basically it's basically lean is basically liquid heroin.
Is that how they describe it with regard to the addiction?
Yeah, level? The addiction and what it does.
Yeah, okay.
The same thing that it does.
Oh,
it has the same effects, but it's just a water method. So you see how someone feels like
what do you imagine heroin to actually feel like?
So I know that this is what I've been told.
Yeah.
I don't know anything about this.
No, yeah, fair enough. Yeah.
The crack gets someone high, and the heroin brings them down.
So what do you think that down feeling's like?
I generally don't know.
So this is what I've heard. So this is how sweet that feeling. You see that feeling when you're in between, just about to go to sleep. That sweetness.
Yeah.
That sweet feeling of, like if somebody disturbed you out of that, you think, oh man, that sleep was sweet.
Yeah.
That's how heroin makes you feel. Can you imagine that?
Mad. That's crazy. So
that is what heroin. It's not the feeling of going to sleep. Forget about you gone to sleep yet. Just imagine being in that permanent stage.
That's crazy.
Of that beautiful feeling of you're just about to doze off and the doorbell rings. And this is what they do. This is the doorbell ringing. They'll go and have a crack pipe. That's the doorbell ringing just to wake them up.
What?
That's what they do.
That's wild. I've never this.
That's what they do. Those heroin users. They, unfortunately, come hand in hand. You won't find a heroin user that isn't usually a crackhead.
Yeah, because like I said, from what I've heard, is the crack gets them high, so they get high. They get high, and then to bring them down from the high, they have to take the heroin. And
so it works either way. The heroin first, the crack after, whatever way they want to do it. But yeah, they come.
Yeah, they go low and
come hand in hand. I actually realised that. I thought that it was two different clienteles and two different separate.
No, the same people.
That's absolutely unbelievable.
2 white, 1 B.
Yeah, seriously, that is a talk.
Yeah,
that's a talk, Bridget. That's a sentence right there. That's a thing.
Yeah.
It's crazy. So, yeah. So far, how am I doing with regard to my question answering?
Yeah, you're explaining a lot of things on this episode that maybe some people might have been confused about.
Okay, good.
All right, you said it's the mother's fault. Can you elaborate on that? Because that was like one of your first episodes.
It was one of my first episodes, and I stick by it. I won't come off it. I've had a few comments saying, no, it's not. No, it's not. One comment said, he doesn't exist. I don't talk about him at all. And I said, if he is alive, he exists. unless he's dead. right.
He's alive. He exists. Don't you get it?
No, seriously,
You can't. Someone disappears from your mind just because you want them to. It doesn't mean they're gone.
Exactly.
They're still here.
Right. So that was my point. Yeah, the reason I say it's your mum's fault. Sorry, ladies. I'm a mum. I had unprotected sex. I have 4 children. Where would I find it in myself not to reveal the identity of this person that I decided to have this unprotected sex with in such an intimate way that we created a child? I went all the way and served the whole pregnancy, no matter how long that pregnancy was, because no one's going to say it's 9 months. It could be 8. It could be 10. Yeah. And actually give birth to that child. There's a lot of pain that goes on with that. I don't care what your name is. It hurt. Yeah. And then look at you. And sometimes you might even look like that person.
Facts.
And deprive you of, even if I told you the name, and even if you were old enough, which could be way before you're 14, to go and look for them yourself, because I hated them so much. Maybe they might have raped me. Maybe they might be on the sex register. I want to talk about that afterwards, actually. They might be on the sex register. How could I find it in my heart not to tell you who that person was? Who could tell you then? Who do you want to tell you? Who would know more than me? Because my mum, who would be your grandma, she can't know more than me. She was not there when I had that unprotected sex, when we had that intimate moment. It was just me and them. So, unless you have a father that is never going to leave that woman's side, to full stop, whether he knew that she was pregnant or not, then that could be a way of them. Well, then you wouldn't need to know, would you? I don't know. Whose fault is it? Okay, what do you think?
I generally believe what you said was 100% correct. And the reason why I stand by this is because I never forget what my older brother said to me. He said, even though women have like 21 ways of contraception, just make sure that you're protecting yourself. And I looked at him and I thought, what does that even mean, bro? What does that even mean? And then as I got older, I started to realize what he was saying. He was talking some sense. My Jamaican brother, yeah, he was talking some sense. He's basically saying women have more ways of protecting themselves from getting pregnant. You have one way of protecting yourself. So make sure you protect yourself, my brother, yeah? And don't let no gal say that she's carrying a youth for you and mashing up your life. Even though she could have done it her way, yeah? Even though she got 21 methods, you make sure you take your one method. I'm looking at the man thinking, like, when he said it to me, I swear I was so young, yeah, I looked at him and thought, this guy chats rubbish. I swear down, in my mind, yeah, I was like, this guy doesn't know what he's talking about, bro. He's chatting rubbish. She has 21 ways of doing it. Isn't it more on her? But now I understand as I'm older what he meant. And now it actually makes sense, like, in the grand scheme of things. So I generally believe that if a woman is going to lay down with a man unprotected and then not tell the man who that's his child or not let the child see the father, it's a little bit weird. And it is her fault because she knows who's entered her and who's not entered her. A woman could tell you that's not his child. She could say, I know when I got pregnant with this you. I felt something. Women feel stuff. I'm not a woman.
Thing, what
like,
he's saying, but
I'm not
true.
a woman. Like you
we
know when you're.
We know it's true.
Yeah, that's why when a woman, I was watching some show. I think it was like this guy. He said he was in 5 years in prison. Yeah, for a child that wasn't his. Yeah, and then the judge said, "Do you know who the father is?" And she said, "Yes, I do." And you know what? You could see on her face, yeah, that she 100% knew. She knew it wasn't his you, even though she was probably cohabiting with him. She knew that. I never got the same feeling I got when I was with him. That feeling something, I got something with him, I think the child's his. But because she knew that man never wanted to be a good father, she just pushed it onto the other man. But like I said, every child is in need of knowing who their father is. Whether you think he's a piece of crap or not, it doesn't matter.
It's your duty to let that
it's the child. It's up for the child to get to the point where they realise and they can say that for themselves. And I think that's the best way for the child, because then the child will never have any malice against their mother. They know, like, mum done her best, but dad was just a waste man. So I'm doing my thing. It's less hate and less grudge. Do you know what I'm saying? Because they could still want to form a relationship in 20 years from now. But if you don't know who that man is, how do you even know your life and who you are? So I generally, I sided with you when you said that point.
Thank you very much.
But I think a lot of people didn't get that point and they thought it was...
And it's too bad if you're offended because it just is. I'm not taking back that talk. I mean every single word of it. It's been broken down to you of why it's meant like that, how it's meant like that from a perspective of somebody that isn't a woman, and from my perspective, who is a woman, who didn't know my dad until I was 14, who have got children of my own now, would never dream of doing that to them, and also from actually knowing what it is like being that child and not knowing, like, what the hell do you think you are? Not telling me that. Like, you think that's your business because you're the one that had sex with him. Come on, be serious. It's got to be everybody's business by now. And 14 years is long enough for you to get over your emotional trauma, whatever it was, and start to come clean with the child. And also, don't forget that it's not just about the dad, because he could be a complete, absolute asshole. He has and will have some family there that will be the family of your child, just as much as your family is the family of the child. Just because you're maternal, you couldn't make that child by yourself. Do you know what I mean? I know some of you are trying that, but it's really still not by yourself. There's been some sperm donated from somewhere and impregnated into you for these things to happen. That's how nature made it. We've not been able to get around that one yet. So when you are getting on with what you're getting on with, just always remember that child will one day turn into an adult and will start getting onto you at some stage or another. And so unless you're dead, yeah, and you can't ask any questions, just be ready for the questioning. As much as you're trying to brush it under the carpet now, manipulate and intimidate that child, because that's all it can be, yeah, because that's your only thing, the only tools that you have to shut this child up, that won't last forever. That won't last forever. So just for your own sake, really, if you want to have a nice life, spend some time with your grandchildren, your child could get grudgeful and say you ain't seen your grandchildren because of all them little things there. So you don't want none of that. You want to have a nice little rosy future. This is what I'm saying about thinking ahead. It's really, really important.
Yeah, so that was my take on that episode, because I really like that you said that, because there's a lot of people that will stop a man from seeing his child and then not realize the effect it actually has on the child. Forget the man for a second, because we all know that's going to damage the man, but the effect it has on the child and what the child has to go through psychologically on parents' evenings, on days when people are picking up their children from this or taking their children here. Like, what is the effect on the child's mind at that moment? Nobody actually deeps at that point. No. Or how is it going to affect my daughter's relationships in the future when she starts to get with men? Absolutely. And is she just looking for a father figure now? Good and point. Now she's getting abused by a lot of older men, and a lot of younger women, they get abused by older men on the basis that she's looking for a father figure, and she's looking for the father figure in the wrong places.
And a father figure, she doesn't even know what she's looking for because she don't know her father. So how about that for confusion and messed up stuff? I wanted to touch on the fact that you said waste man. What does that mean?
Waste man can mean so many different things.
Okay, so on the levels that we use it, what does it mean?
Just means a guy that's ain't got nothing going on for himself.
Okay. I hate that expression. Like I hate cheating, like I hate all those other words that we've invented to put ourselves down. I hate it. I hate that word.
But I feel like that was a universal word, though, like, because people in that...
Where did it come from? It's just new thing. It's a new thing. I didn't know that when I was growing up.
Yeah, my words changed, though, innit?
Yeah, that's what I mean. So who thought that'd be a good idea?
Some young... I don't even know.
Yeah, exactly. And we need to stop doing it, because while we're doing it to ourselves, they're doing it to us. And that's what we will become, a waste. Like, for me, a waste man is somebody that literally wastes stuff. So if I pour you a drink and you don't drink it, you wasted it, you're a waste man. That's what I literally take it as. But this is taking it for life now, isn't it? 100. For wasting your life. Boy, you see how they have you, boy. You need to come out of the waste man category. If anybody's even thinking about you like that, man, you need to take yourself out of that, because that's not a nice place to be. That's what I've got to say. And another thing I wanted to touch on was you're the man that you slept with. He might have raped you, or he could be a paedophile. I just want to make a clear point about this sex offenders list and how serious it is. You see, you guys that send dick pics, and seriously, you girls that send your little picture, your little nipple, your little VV, whatever it is you're sending, yeah. Try and you can get put on a sex offenders list for something as simple as that. For something as simple as a girl that you're dealing with sending you a picture of herself in the form of nudity, you share that around, yeah, you can get put on the sex offenders list for that. Did you know that? It's a serious thing. Did you know that?
I didn't even know that.
That's a fact. Yeah.
Wait.
So you don't. So you see the girl. You see you ladies out there, and you find that your picture's gone viral. Yeah. And you thought that you were sending that picture. I've got a few things to say about it. You thought you were sending that picture in trust and confidence, and you find that picture's gone viral. You don't even need to get that person arrested. You need to make one phone call and report it. It will be reported and recorded, because that's a digital word that we live in these days. And whoever you have reported, they only need a couple more phone calls like that, and that gets put on the sex offender list almost immediately. Simple little things. You might be 15, sending your dick pic, and by the time you are 18 and that image is still around, you can get done for sexual abuse or whatever it is. You need to start thinking, guys and girls, yeah, of this is what they've done. I heard the adverts. Night vision phone. You can take your picture while you're in the club. You can also take your video while you're having sex. Nobody even knows your video's on. They've got night vision phones. Oh, yeah, we're in the club. Yeah, look at our pictures. Look at our video. It's night vision. Good. Night is also a time where sex takes place a lot. So you've got young people, as low as 50, it's a big thing on the radio, young as 15, in between 15 and 16, that think it's really cool to take these night vision phones that your parents have bought you, because you lot say flash, yeah, and take videos of you having sex. Sometimes the girl doesn't even know. You can get put on the sex offenders list for that. Carry on.
That's mad. I didn't even know that. Still, is people really on the sex offenders list?
Yeah, because once you get, and then also once you get put on the sex offenders list, you find it very difficult to talk your way out of getting a job, working with children, having any children of your own. You'll need to answer some questions when they're born. You'll need to explain yourself, because the problem with the sex offenders list, that's what it is. It doesn't categorize. It doesn't go, oh yeah, he only showed his penis. Oh no, John only showed his penis. Put him at the end with the others that showed that. It doesn't work like that. This is what it says. Sex offenders list. Your name's just on it. You have to then explain yourself and explain your sex offence. Don't sexually offend. How about that? Then there is no chance of you being put on that list. But here what's going on, there's an epidemic of it, isn't it? You lot are sexually offending all the time. Stop it. It will ruin your future, honestly. Seriously.
That's wild. Yeah, don't be sending... guys be using that as blackmail as well. But isn't that like a crime though if you do that? Is it called like revenge porn?
Probably. Yeah. Well, I don't know what it's like when you're an adult, but I know with children, what usually happens, so I know a kid... it was in his school holidays. After the school holidays, the mum got a phone call from the teacher, and the teacher said, we've got a video of your child getting head in the park. She was like, what? He was like, yeah, it was in the school holidays, but the mum of the girl went through the phone and has seen this image and has brought it to our attention.
Bro, that is probably one of the most hardest phone calls as a mother that you're ever going to have to make.
Imagine, though. So, at the time, the child was 13. They were both 13. And nothing was actually done. But because they both consented, there was no force, blah, blah, blah. It's not the point, though, is it? The point is, it's on the girl's phone.
But wait.
Yeah.
Wait. What is this 13-year-old doing, recording herself giving head?
Right, and this is this is what I just said about the epidemic that we're going through. It's real. Yeah. Once they've got the device, that's all you got to do. They listen. You want to know this, you want to know that, blah blah blah. Take away the device. You'll never have a problem with all that. That will never come up, will it? Take away the phone.
No, but they could do it off their friends' phone. If it's about mindset, what's going through your child's mind while they're saying, "Yo, you grab the phone and record me doing this action."
Because it's a memory of your childhood.
No, but I'm saying, but remember, for that action to happen, it's either the youth's filming it or someone else is filming.
No, so if she was filming it, she filmed it. They probably put the phone the same way that they do when they're doing YouTube. What do you want me to say? He's in the woods, you know.
Woods? What are you doing in the woods?
Getting head.
Flipping hell, bruv.
Private.
What is this, man?
Telling you,
they should be doing their books, blood, about getting head in the
right. So this is the kind of activities that are going on with young people these days.
But you know, I've been trying to tell my brethren about. He's like, oh, my daughter comes in every day, like late from school. She doesn't go into school sometimes. She does her own thing. I'm like, bro, like,
got to nip that in the bud.
I said, like, are you talking to your daughter like about real stuff, like stuff that's like?
It's not about talking. You got to nip that in the bud.
But he's like, no, I don't talk to her about that stuff, man. That's gross. I'm like, brother, I'm saying, you got a 15-year-old. I feel like there's certain conversations that you need to have with her straight. I don't care how uncomfortable it is or how mashed up it sounds. You're her father.
Where's her mum? Where's her mum? Where is the mum though? Is the mum around?
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So, based on that, yeah, you see the problem with all of that now. Yeah, I'm gonna tell you the problem. There are a few problems. As an adult, you forget what it's like to be a child. As a child, you don't have any idea that your parent is a person. No, that's just your parent.
Yeah, it's true.
You know what I mean? What do you know? You what do you know? Your name's Mum. You're thick as shit. Look at you. Look at what you're wearing. Look at your hair. No, it's not me. What kind of representation are you trying to present yourself for giving me information? That's the attitude of a child. And then, like I said, as the parent, you're like, you're so dumb, man. You're so stupid. Look how small. You don't even know nothing. Yeah, well, that's where communication's broken down straight away. Like, literally, where are you going with that? Where can you go with those two attitudes? That's before you've even had a conversation. That's before you've even got out of bed. That's how your mindset is. So that's where the problem is. If we could just draw yourself back, like your friend, to just being that teenager again, that being that 15-year-old, he'd open his mouth fast because he'd realise what's about to happen. He needs to speak up because obviously when you was a child, you wished that somebody was there saying to you, there's a hole. If you take one more step, 1 more millimetre, there you're going to drop down in that hole. You just wish that person was there to tell you.
No, but the reason why I was saying that to him is because I went back to my childhood and I remember when girls used to be like, yeah, mum, I'm just going library. And I'm looking at the girl thinking, she's not going library, bruv. She's coming to the blocks, yeah? But I'm going back into my childhood stage where I was a little corrupted but I know the kids nowadays are 6 times worse than what we was now.
So this is my answer to that. Do not let your child go outside after school in the sense of you can't, can you? Because you're at work. Sorry, carry on.
So I'm saying that you should be keeping tabs on your child.
How when you're at work?
No, but I'm saying you should know. Have a GPS on their phone.
Oh, there we're going back to the phone thing again.
Yeah, so this is what. So when your child has a phone and some children.
It's such a cycle. You don't even know where to start.
It's mad, isn't it? There's so much going on there. There's bare stuff going on. There's bare things. I'm trying to tell him like this. Like it's mad. So.
You do know you're going to buck up in a brick wall though, don't you? When you try to explain this to me, you do realise you're going to go crash or shit and then start again.
It's mad because I'm saying to him, bro, you need to talk to her about like protection,
what do you think talking's going to do? This is what my cousin said. She said, my mum thinks that you just have sex at night time. She said. I was like, what does that mean? You can have sex in the day.
That's
This is what you don't. Right. So planning ahead means this. This is the answer to it all. Right. Good. Let's start from the beginning. You have the unprotected sex. You have the child. You make sure the child knows who their family are. Good. So you know, no matter what, there's a bit of support. It might be the worst rubbish support ever. Your family might be in and out of jail, this, that, and the other. But here what it will do, it will teach your child not to be like that. If it's one thing, it teaches your child. Right, so you go through all that. Don't go to work. Stay around, hang about, get a job that fits in with the holidays. Get a job that fits in with the school time. Get a part-time job. Forget about your career. That's done. Right. Concentrate on this individual. If you live in an estate, when they want to go out from yay high, say no. Because when they get to yay high, you can't say no. Do you get that? Seriously, on the level. You got a 3-year-old mum. Oh, yeah, he's just out with his mates outside at the front. You got a 13-year-old. But you used to let me play out when I was 3. Why are you not letting me play out now? How are you going to explain that? Good. They've got a phone 2 hours a day for the phone. That includes the time that they spent on a computer at school because it's messing up their brain. There's cortex that protects your brain. Every time you make a call at that age, it goes through a layer. Monitor. That's what you need to monitor. So this is what happens. You can't monitor all that, can you? No, because you've got your life to live. You got your career to look about. You got man to move in. You got man to watch. You got things to do. You're busy. You're out of order.
It's crazy. And you know what, yeah, that's why I feel like before we even have children, we should be like going through courses and stuff.
Serious thing, planning ahead.
Because I feel like that'll make things a little bit more organized. Because I feel like nothing's organized, and I think that's the unorganized part of it is where it turns into be problematic. And I feel sorry for that guy to a certain extent because you know I could see that. Maybe he can't see it because he's in La La Land and he's probably looking at things from a different perspective. But I go back into my childhood and think like, I always use my childhood as a standpoint of like how kids are. Even though the kid could be 100% different. I'm just saying, if your child's just moving dodgy and they're coming in late, like, well, I used to see kids, yeah. I see kids in their school uniform past 7 o'clock and I think, where's your parents? You don't come from a household, you come from a jungle. Because even me, I knew my mum and dad, yeah. I'm a boy pickney. And my mum and dad would be like, make sure you're at home before 5 o'clock. Like, that was my thing. I could go, maybe I might be allowed back out, you know. I might be. On a good day. I might be like, Mum,
no way allowed back out your ass.
Yeah, let me go next door to my friend's house, please, and play computer. Like, I might get a touch. But I know for a fact, I could never be on my school uniform by 7 o'clock. If my dad's or my brothers or someone saw me on road, I'm getting smoked. Like, that was a normal thing. Like, what are you doing in your school clothes at 7, 8 o'clock?
And another thing that we like to do as well, especially as black community people, full stop, we love to think we're sending our children to the best school all the way across London. Think about what you're saying. Why are you late home? You can't win, can ya? Like, I can tell you anything. The train broke down, the bus broke down, this, that, rare. You sent me so far to school. What was wrong with the local comprehensive? Here what needs to be a lesson. It's a fact. Your child will learn anywhere it goes if it wants to learn. If it does not want to learn, you can send it across London if you like. All it's going to do is end up not learning, plus get himself into trouble on that journey to and from school. You see that journey? It should be... that's why they make things in the catchment area. Why do you think they do that? To make it easier on the child to travel. It's not you travelling. Got to get up at 6 o'clock in the morning, do your edges and go to school. Can't find your Oyster cards, blah, blah, rare. It's not you, is it? You're not even making sure they're going because you're packed off to go to work. You can't even stop. Can't be late. Anyway, those little things, there's reasons for all of them. Do you know what I mean? The local comprehensive school is where your child... This is what English people do. Not English people, British middle-class people. They always send their children to the local primary school. That's what they do. They do that so that the child becomes a part of the community, and so do they. When it comes to secondary school now, where they're at an influential age, those same children, they send them to the private school then. Hear what black people do. I've seen it a million times. They send them to a private boarding school when they're nursery and primary, yeah? See, by the time they reach secondary, they're broke.
Gone.
They ain't got no money. And it's too late then, because you're now going to go and ruin all that bloody money you spent. It's going to get ruined. If it ends up going to the local comprehension school, what was your point? What form of foundation? That foundation that you thought you're paying hundreds and thousands of pounds for every month, you could have done that at home for free if you just took the time. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Facts.
You get what I'm dealing with? Facts. And there's your cycle. There's your cycle all nipped up. And the reason I can talk and my mouth's so big about it is because what I do, I've got 4 children, as you know. I've been practicing what I preach on a daily basis. And so far, I have had 100% success rate. Do you know what I mean? You can't help health, even though you can. Because again, it's all about thinking ahead. Do you know what I mean? You want to plough your children down with dairy and sweets and chocolate. And then, of course, they're going to have a cavity by the time they're 10. Do you know what I mean? And it's your fault. Tell you again, it's your fault. When they go to secondary school, oh, you're giving them £2 to go to secondary school because you're sending them all the way across London. They're going to need a flipping to make their own dinner. Do you know what I mean? Or buy their own dinner by the time they're getting home. And they're spending it on sweets and chocolate and this and that. You don't even know what they're spending it on, cigarette and blah, blah, whatever. Vaping, yeah? That's your fault again. Because you're not thinking ahead. All you're doing is thinking about your damn self.
Yeah, man. This is a very good episode. I liked it. I enjoyed it.
Really?
Yeah,
I'm glad because... when it was suggested to me, I thought to myself, well, I know for a fact this will never be an argument or confrontational or whatever because I literally practice what I preach. I've even got a show lined up for a guy that sells beauty products. And it's hilarious because he said to me, but I'll do hair and wigs and that, and you don't wear all that. And you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to get a guest on to perform it for you because I cannot even think about pretending to do that. Do you know what I mean? And saying to you, this hair's really good. How the bloody hell am I going to know? Oh, this makeup's really good. How am I going to know? I don't wear makeup. I don't do my hair. So I'm bringing a guest on so that literally we don't have any capping in the show. We don't have anything where, you're chatting shit. I don't know what you're talking about. Rare. Because I do.
Come on. Make sure you like, comment and subscribe. And you follow her. Don't follow me. I'm Red Talks. You already follow me already.
No, you're too much following with him. You need to follow me. That's definitely what you need to do. He has enough followers. In fact, why can't they do a thing where, in the Caribbean, you can borrow credit off people?
So you want to borrow some followers?
Basically.
That's the followers.
On a digital level. Thank you, guys. You're beautiful as usual. Love you all. Take care. And remember to look after yourself. No one ain't going to do it for you. Not as well as you can.